G'day legends. Now, unless you've been living under a rock in the MMA world, I'm sure you have heard all the news and all the outrage about the upcoming planned event for UFC Noche, UFC 320, where it looks like they are going to be giving Yair Rodriguez a second shot at Alexander Volkanovski for, well, he's Mexican. And the UFC has become a DEI racist company now, where you just get title shots depending on the race of the person and where the event is happening. Now, this is on the back end of all the rage that seemed to come before that in the news, which was the lack of the stripping of Jon Jones. Now, I don't mean that in any sort of Diddy-ish way. I mean the fact that coming up, we have International Fight Week. The card only has two title fights on it. It could easily have a third title fight on it of the UFC's men's heavyweight division, but instead of the UFC's men's heavyweight champion, Jon Jones, defending his title, he is choosing to just sit on a beach in Thailand, watch a bunch of Dagestanis wrestle each other in a pool, and sip mojitos and laugh at us. There is nothing going on with Jon Jones. There is no reason that he isn't able to vacate, and quite literally, the UFC fan base has had enough. The amount of outrage, and the amount of outpouring, and the amount of disdain that has come from the UFC fan base lately is of a level that I've not felt before, even leading up to UFC 300, where it was just oil up Dana White, oil up Dana White, oil up Dana White. This is new levels of hatred that seem to be coming towards the UFC. Dana White was out there starting to promote boxing fights the same night that the UFC was going to be on. The only reason that Dana White isn't promoting boxing fights is because his new boyfriend, Turkshay Ali, told him, "Get back in line, Dana. I'll call you when I need you." Otherwise, Dana would be promoting literally MMA's biggest rival for the last 30 years. And fans are sick of it. They have had enough. But what can we do except for together, collectively, on Instagram, on Twitter? I mean, there's a petition going right now to strip Jon Jones. Us, the broad MMA YouTube community, from the biggest channels all the way up to MMA Guru, to Michael Bisping, who works for the company, to the smallest channels like myself, are all saying the exact same message. Dana White, we have had enough. We've had enough. But even then, can we really change anything? Can we really change anything? I mean, look at this weekend's card, another card at the Apex. Look at the card. It's just riddled with horrible events all the way through. What can we actually do to bring some change? That is the point of today's video. I do not want to just be the kind of person that just sits around and talks about it. I want to be the kind of person that actually puts some actionable plan together to have our voices heard by the MMA community. And I mean not just us, the MMA community online. I mean the MMA community inside the halls of the UFC PI and the Apex itself. I would like to start a movement here today that I kicked off on the stream over the weekend. A movement that I am calling March on the Apex. That is right. I think it is time for us, the MMA fans, to go to the very front doors of the UFC and start protesting peacefully. Peacefully. I cannot stress that enough. I really cannot stress that enough. A peaceful protest at the Apex. That is what we are going to be talking about today. I am going to be taking you through when it's going to be, what some of our demands are, why this needs to happen, and how I believe this can be a very, very real possibility, right? I need this image, which is up on my Twitter right now. I need this image shared with the broader MMA community because I am just a simple Aussie YouTuber, right? I can't get to America. I don't have the funds nor the time to get to America right now. But the broader MMA community, if someone like a Lucas Tracy or a No Chill or even a Bisping or an Ariel Helwani, if someone out there in the broader MMA community, you know, even some of the Dagestani fan base as well, I extend the olive branch to the MMA Joeys out there who are sick of the relentless, undeserved title shots. Look at them giving a title shot to Colby Covington before they gave one to Bilal Muhammad. It's madness out here on the streets of the UFC. It's madness out here in the UFC, and it is time for a change. Now, I suggest that we march on the Apex, in front of the Apex peacefully, on the streets of the Apex, because the Apex is a private building. I'll go through the plans in this video, but I suggest that we meet on the streets of the Apex, in front of the Apex, peacefully, on June 27th. This is the day before International Fight Week UFC 317. The day before UFC 317, there are going to be 20,000 MMA fans in Las Vegas. That is the capacity of the T-Mobile Arena. That's the fight that's going to be on that weekend. The capacity of the T-Mobile Arena is 20,000 fans. I believe that we could get 1,000 fans in front of the Apex. 1,000. Imagine the sights of that, boys. 1,000 fans in front of the Apex. Now, this needs strong leadership from the American side. You know, if a Lucas Tracy could pick this up, if someone with the bigger numbers than I could pick this up, this would be epic. Now, what are our demands? Our demands would be to call for the head and the firing of Dana White. We want to see Dana White fight. Let him know that we're sick of his lies. We're sick of this mega fight that we would never be able to see coming. Remember that at the end of the year? Hey, Dana, could you make one decent fight this year? Could you do that? Could you make one decent fight? Is the mega fight that we couldn't even see coming DDP versus Khamzat Chimaev? Is that the one, Dana? That can't be the one you were talking about, mate. You know? So we got to get rid of Dana White. We're sick of his lies and this idea that he is promoting Power Slap on all of the UFC's accounts. We're not interested in the UFC, in Power Slap, Dana. We're not interested in it. He's got his head so far up his ass with Power Slap. He's so worried about TKO Boxing and trying to get them a TV distributor. He's so worried about his bull riding adventures that he's not worried about the UFC anymore. So we got to fire Dana White. Sick of it. Movzar versus Volk. Make the damn fight, man. You know you have screwed up when the entire MMA community is saying that we want to see Movzar Evloev fight for a title. Everyone's saying that. You screwed up, mate. Everyone's saying they want to see Movzar Evloev fight for a title. And strip John Jones. Strip him. I don't care about November. No. Why are we pandering to this man? No. Strip John Jones. Start promoting the fights like boxers do. We want face-to-face, in-person interviews 2 weeks out. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. Do not tell me that the main event is not in the city 2 weeks out, acclimating to the conditions. Face-to-face, 2 weeks out, in a room, round table. Start promoting them like boxing. Shoot promos again, man. Shoot promos again. Like, remember the Conor McGregor, Jose Aldo promotion, where it was cinematic, again, like boxing. Be a promotional company again. The UFC no longer promote. They just produce. And what I mean by that is they bring in a bunch of nobodies from the Contender Series and just point the cameras at the most interesting one. Peyton Talbot, Sean O'Malley, Bo Nickel, doesn't matter. Whoever they think is the most interesting one that can get the most clicks, that's where they point their cameras to. That's production. That's not promotion. If Movzar Evloev can't sell pay-per-views, make him sell pay-per-views. You know what gets the most engagement? Rage stuff. Stuff that pisses people off. And what you, the UFC, do, rather than promoting Movzar Evloev as this bad guy from the mountains that carries an AK-47, that can't be defeated, that maybe picks his wives out a little bit earlier than they should be picked, definitely picks his wives out earlier than they should be picked out, rather than turning him into this bad guy boogeyman lurking in the division through great cinematography, rather than building this whole world that could be going on in the UFC right now of the world versus the Dagestanis and the Dagestani grappling takeover and who is going to stop them, rather than building these interesting storylines, you just hold them back until us, the fans, rage out because we're so sick of seeing these guys get hard done by. You can sell Movzar Evloev, Magomed Ankalaev, Khamzat Chimaev, Islam Makhachev. You could sell them as this goated wave of people from the mountains that don't speak English, and no one can seem to find a way to beat them. Just relentless, undefeated grapplers. Who's going to do it? And then the second a JDM breaks through, you can start to build a storyline around it. We, the fans, are already doing it with Australia versus Russia. And guess what? You are completely screwing that up. We are giving you Australia versus Russia too. JDM versus Islam Makhachev, Alexander Volkanovski versus Movzar Evloev in Australia at the end of the year. We're handing you the storylines, and you are religiously dropping the fucking ball, and we're sick of it because you're a fucking production company, no longer a promotion company, and that is time to change. So fire Dana White, start promoting like boxing, and start fucking promoting the fights as well. And by not being a production company anymore, that means you can take Embedded and fuck that off too. Get rid of Embedded. No one wants to see it. From the couple of bucks you save on Embedded, invested in any sort of AI generation and start building some hype for the fighters for that. And then, of course, I should have added to the flyer, and I think some of the boys in front of the Apex can be screaming about this as well. No more Apex fight nights. No more Apex fight nights. No more Apex fight nights. Who out there remembers the card Merab Dvalishvili versus Piotr Yan? Merab Dvalishvili versus Piotr Yan was a sick card. It happened in a 2,000 person room at a small hotel lobby, it felt like. It was so intimate and awesome to watch the fighters walk out essentially through the crowd. It was the atmosphere in that card was awesome. If you don't want to spend money on big overheads for these big arenas at every single fight night card, you don't have to do that, all right? Take them to smaller locations. But nothing is worse than the Apex. And you hide behind the Apex with these shit cards. And sometimes you get lucky and they're kind of half fun. But the problem is you fill them full of fighters that no one gives a fuck about. So stop putting them in the Apex and start actually putting decent fights on the card. Ranked fights on fight nights cards. And men's ranked fights. Don't fuck around with this Blanchfield versus Barber bullshit. Right, so that's the plan. That's what we're looking for here. We are looking for 1,000 of the 20,000 fans to go down to the Apex. Now, here's the thing. If this starts to gain traction, very similar to how the petition for John Jones' stripping is gaining traction online. If this starts to gain some traction and some hype, people in my live stream community have already called the City Council of Las Vegas, and we are looking to get some permits made up. Because you do need permits to peacefully protest at the UFC. So what I've done here is I've just gone and pulled the Google Maps images of the UFC Apex, and I want to make something very clear to everybody out there. This is to be a peaceful night out for the boys. A peaceful day out for the boys where we can have fun, make some placards, and scream about how we want to see Dana White fired. No oiling him up jokes. No, I'm talking like seriously let them know that they have screwed up. But the Apex is a private building. So boys, once Lucas gets onto it, once some of the other bigger American MMA, Jesse on Fire, you want to start being an MMA YouTuber again? No one gives a fuck about Diddy anymore, dude. We've all moved on, all right? Stop milking your algorithm for Diddy and start milking your algorithm for hashtag March on the UFC, March at Dougie. March at the UFC Apex. This is what I can't stress enough. When we get down to the Apex, we got to have a permit from the Las Vegas Council, which I think we can get because you are allowed to peacefully protest in America. You guys are one of the last few free countries left on the planet. But I can't stress this enough, boys. Do not enter this area. When we get down to the Apex on June 27th, around midday, 1,000 of us, Ariel Helwani, Lucas Tracy, Jesse on Fire, MMA Joey, they all have half an hour speaking slots each where they just get to rage out a little bit in front of the crowd and the crowd gets to cheer. Do not enter this red square. It's private property, okay? Do not enter this red square. What we will try and get a permit for is this green area here out the front of the Apex. I want to see 1,000 MMA fans just sprawled across the street here, not blocking traffic. If we don't get the permit, then apparently as long as you don't block traffic, you're all good to go. I don't know about American law, but that seems to be the gist of it from what I'm getting. If you don't get permits, you just can't block traffic. So stand on the other side of the street, stand on the footpath, stay off the road, and just start screaming at the Apex as loud as you can, peacefully. Peacefully. And I mean legitimately peacefully, all right? Not how, like, CNN says peacefully, you know, like fiery but mainly peaceful. No, I mean like actually peacefully, not media gaslighting you peacefully, legit peacefully, all right? Now, here's the other thing that I would like to see. If anyone out there, out of these 1,000 legends that are going to let the UFC know that we're sick of it, have got RVs, camper vans, trailers, any of that kind of shit, I would like you guys to bring them down there as well and park in the yellow zone here. I'm in the yellow zone. Let me move myself in front of the Apex here. I'll go here. This is looking like an insurrection. It's not. Again, peace. I can't stress peacefully enough at this point of the video because I would like to visit America one day. I would like to visit America again, so I cannot stress peacefully. A peaceful sports fan, passionate meetup in front of the Apex on International Fight Week, just to let them know that we're sick of their nonsense. Right, so once we're staying off the road, not blocking traffic, and not entering the private property of the Apex, if you boys know anyone with RVs, camper vans, any of that kind of stuff, park them in the yellow area. If you can park them in the yellow area, because let's face it, some of the lads are going to get on the beers. Some of the boys are going to go on the beers. Some of them are going to get hungry. They're going to need somewhere to take a piss. They're going to need somewhere to shit. Somewhere to cook up some food. You know what I mean? So if you legends can sacrifice a couple of RVs, couple of caravans, and just park them here in the yellow zone, this is the backup area for the boys. And if we get too many fans, maybe we get out of the 20,000 fans, maybe we get 5,000 fans down at the Apex. The yellow zone is like the spillover zone. And I think this would be a great day. I think this would be a great, if we could keep it. Lucas talks for half an hour. Jesse talks for, it's Jesse on fire, so he'll ramble for, be nice, Dougie. We need to call all the arms together. All the boys together, so be nice. Don't make fun of Jesse just babbling on. Jesse can have a chat. MMA Joey can have 15 minutes, on the megaphone, talking about Dagestani hate. No one cares. Jesse, no one cares, MMA Joey, but you have your say. It's about uniting the fan base together. Letting the UFC know that we're sick of it. So here it is. My magnum opus. So here it is. My magnum opus, my dream for International Fight Week. 1,000 MMA fans now in this CGI'd image, they've seemed to have broken through the red zone. Again, do not enter the red zone as we have planned out. Stay on the footpath. But 1,000 MMA fans out front of the Apex. Fire Dana White. Fucking Bennett. Fire Dana White. Fucking Bennett. Peaceful protest. Keep it peaceful. And let them know we're sick of it. We've had enough. This image right here. Hashtag March at the Apex, I should have changed it. March at the Apex, not on the Apex. It's on my Twitter account right now. Go to the Twitter account, share it. Tag MMA Guru. I know he's in England, but still, he could have the influence to get this fire burning in the MMA community. Tag MMA Guru. Tag Lucas Tracy. Tag Jesse on Fire. Get him to stop talking about Diddy. Come back to MMA YouTube, Jesse on Fire. And let's really build a movement here so that this shit that we've been getting from the UFC, if they're not going to stop it, let's stop it ourselves. Let's go to the Apex. Let's let them know we're this close to going and watching BKFC. We don't need to give them our money and attention. BKFC, quite frankly, is more fun than the UFC. So we'll fuck off and go watch that. But let them know we're sick of it. Mobzar versus Volk needs to happen. Yair Rodriguez versus Alexander Volkanovski might be the straw that broke the camel's back. Otherwise, just get rid of the belts. Honestly, we're getting to a point now. This is a whole other video, but we are getting to a point now where you could just get rid of the belts. You could just get rid of the belts. Get rid of them. And just have stars that headline pay-per-views. And to let us, the fans, debate about, I wonder who could beat that star. Oh, imagine Alex Pereira's run without the belt, right? Like, he just goes up to light heavyweight, beats Yuri, beats Jamal, beats Khalil, and then there's this guy floating around called Magomed Ankalaev, and everyone's like, he could be the guy, but you don't have to call Yuri. He just, Alex Pereira just headlines events. And that way you can give Alex Pereira, Ozdemir. Ozdemir was available. You know what I mean? We're getting to the point where we don't need the belts. Volkov is sitting around with his finger in his ass, thumb up his ass, going, I don't know what to do with myself anymore. Volkov is fucking lost. Volkov's just as lost as Tom Aspinall is. If you didn't have the belts, you wouldn't have to worry about John Jones. So either get rid of the belts and keep doing what you're doing, or if you're going to have belts and you're going to have a sport, respect the sport. Yair Rodriguez has lost 2 in a row. He beat fucking Pitbull, who wasn't even in the UFC, who's coming off a loss. An unranked, not UFC fighter is the win, and you're giving him a title. There's only one solution left, boys, and it's a final solution. It's the last solution for the UFC. This is it. This is our day. This is our Gallipoli. This is our D-Day. Peacefully. This is our moment. Date, June 27th, midday. Let them know we're coming to the gates, to the street of to the front street of the Apex. We will be there. Goodbye. Thank you very much for watching this. I appreciate all of you. If you're a subscriber of the channel, please leave a like. If this is your first time here, g'day. My name's Dougie. They're usually more fun than this, but we've all had enough. So like, subscribe, join for live streams and all that good stuff, where we come up with not battle plans, plans of intention to let our voices be heard. And if you're one of the paying members on the channel, thank you so much. Your names are up on the next slide, and I'll see you all in the next video. See you guys.